All right, bring in the noise. Bring in the noise 2. So this is Noise 2 from Denise, a plugin that was rated Best Quick Effect by Music Tech. And what this is basically a noise generator with this adapt feature. So of course, adding noise to a signal to make it sound more analog, more gritty, more lo-fi, more roomy, or affecting it in whatever way, that's nothing new. You can use any sort of a signal or sound noise generator that you want, but you might have to also add like a gate in there to gate things off, say through the side chain or something like that. Well, this is built in. So if I just take adapt off here, we're going to hear that noise constantly, just like a noise generator. But with adapt on, we're only hearing the noise when essentially it's breaking through the gate there. Okay.
Are you people positive you know what you're doing?
Oh, I think we can manage without wrecking it.
So let's go over the interface real quick so we know exactly what everything does. Then we'll look at some actual examples here. All right. So first up, we have the input gain. Pretty simple. We have output gain here. We have our mix. So pull it down. Not going to hear it. Pull it up. Mix it way in, whatever our sound happens to be. We have a rise and a fall. You hear how it rises. Or we can make it come on instantly. All right, so that's what that does. Then we have our fall, and that's how quickly does it fall off. So it's continuing on. If I pull it down, it's falling off much quicker. And we're adding some sort of interesting character now to those claps, like this. All right, so you can mix that in however you want. Then we have a stereo. Let me go ahead and take this off of adapt, and we'll pull the stereo down. Pull it down, much more mono-like. Pull it up. Spreads out. Okay, so that is our stereo control. Then we have a high-pass filter and a low-pass filter. Let me change this to say the brown sound. Hear that? You can hear that. The low end, so maybe I want to dial out some low end. You can do that to shape our noise. You can dial out the high end right here. Whatever our sound happens to be. And we have a reverse, but we're not going to see that until we load a sample. And yes, we can actually load samples in here, and that's where things get really cool. So over here, we have a bunch of different types of sound. We heard white, we heard some brown. Here's some pink. We can dial that in with our snare here, or claps. Or maybe put it on this kick right here. It's kind of cool. Pull that fall down some. Or chip.
Oh, now.
That's kind of cool. Mix that in. Then we have a solo, which is just going to let us hear just our whatever our noise happens to be. Solo that. Just hear the noise. Okay. Then, as you saw down here, we can load samples. Now I actually have a sample loaded right here. So just here, just an example of what you could do with something like that. Pull this in. What sample this is, I can just take this off of adapt. You can actually hear that sample. It's like a river running, a mountain stream running there. Also, we can, after you load a sample, you can come down and choose your pencil icon to edit the portion that you're going to sort of loop around. You can make it really small, really short. We just grab it here, make it really short, or make it longer. You have gain for that. Low pass and high pass for that, and even a pitch for that as well. Dial out the low end. Change the loop. All right. Put adapt back on there. Close out of that. So to load a sample, pretty simple. Let me come over here. Use our down arrow and just say load sample, and we can load up any sample at all, any kind of sample that you want, literally anything. So I'll just come in here, say a guitar loop, grab that, load it up, and there you have it right there. We can also load more than one sample at a time. So you can load up to 3 samples. So I could come in here and, head wherever I need to go to and grab maybe an ambient sound, or maybe some, people walking, some crowd sounds, whatever you want, and just load that right up. in there. And then of course that's going to be your sound. Okay.
Maybe this'll help.
Now let's actually look at this in action. So we'll come down here to this drum track. Let me bypass noise 2 for now and just hear this. So kind of a cool drum loop. But what we've done here is we put this pad sound on there. We're using a loop here. Take this off of adapt. So that's what we're actually adding in. And I've also reversed that. So we can reverse it as long as we have a sample loaded here. We can reverse that. So let's play these together now. Just mix it in however much you want. Of course, you can always head in there again, edit, change exactly where you're looping from, pitch it up. You can even change our noise here. Completely different. Move on down here. So now we have this vocal sound. Let me bypass it. So just the vocal.
You thought that you would use me, but love is so confused.
All right, sounds cool. Let's turn this back on and pull it down, and let's just hear the sample that we're using in here. Like a playground sound. Again, it sort of fills this out, makes it a bit more interesting. So let's play them both together.
You thought that you would use me, but love is so confusing. When I fell, you didn't even try to pick me up.
Bypass both of these plugins here. So it's strings and a piano. Let's go ahead and pull in noise 2. And what we did here with noise is we have this wind, this sort of howling wind sample in here, and we also reversed it. So you hear that. Head in there, you can see that sample right there. Pitched up just a little bit. But it sort of adds an atmosphere to our strings. So let's just hear those two together. Here we have a other sound, another sample that we could also use. Pull that one in. So that's also kind of cool to add an atmosphere, but we've also hit my target there. We've also thrown Perfect Room on there. And this is a reverb plugin also by Denise. We already have a full video on this. So we'll throw Perfect Room on there as well and combine these two together. Let me switch our sample back to our howling wind. And now we have a really cool atmosphere for our strings and our piano. Maybe Frown. That one's pretty cool. Kind of fills it out a bit there. Can give it some analog kind of character by having a bit of noise in there as well. Right, so again, load your samples or use noise. I could even use like brown noise on this, which will work pretty well. Just it should there. Hear that? Make it sound grittier. Maybe bring some life to it as well. There will, of course, be a link in the description below where you can pick it up. This is a plugin that you can spend hours in just trying noise on a ton of different sources, whether it's guitar or vocals or drums or even strings or pianos, just basically anything. And then it really sort of sucks you in once you start getting in here to your samples and loading up samples and just seeing different ways that you can mix them in. And you can make new sounds, cool sounds, sound design, or again, use the noise as we've done forever on synthesizer sounds, drum sounds, clap sounds, snare sounds to again bring life, maybe a vintage sound, a lo-fi sound, all kinds of stuff you can do with generating noise. So again, Noise 2 from Denise.